We've got... I'm Dion Sheehan. Oh fuck.
What's happening, folks? I fucked it up. As soon as I go. Hey, what's happening, folks? I'm Jesse Jones. This is the first ever episode of the Basement Bounce Off.
I'm Dion Sheehan. We've got a lot to go through today. It's our first podcast to discuss everything MMA related. The topics for today is going to be obviously McGregor versus Dos Anjos. It's going to be BJ Penn's comeback. We've got a potential Cruz versus Faber. Number 2, we've got the scrapping of UFC 196 Cain Velasquez and Verdum. We've got UFC and British Wrestling Association announcing a partnership to promote wrestling over here in the UK. We've got Holm versus Tate and Rashad versus Shogun. We've got Tim Kennedy, who's been threatened by ISIS, which is quite a fun topic.
God fucking help him.
And we've got quite a lot to go through. So, and also we've got Bader versus Johnson, which is going to be the last topic coming this weekend. So
the most important article that's come out this week is basically the possibility of 4 Welsh fighters being in the UFC, which is quite exciting for us, obviously, because we're Welsh. And it's 4 fighters. It's 1 welterweight, 1 bantamweight, and 2 middleweights. Fuck's sake, man. Like, but yeah, basically, he absolutely smashed.
should we do that, Jess?
See what that is, Dion, right?
Should we cut that off?
Nah. Alright guys, sorry about that phone call, like, but since the phone went, we've been here for about 4 hours talking utter garbage about fucking stats and fucking figures.
Boring fucking stats, really boring. We rambled on about boring. Fuck the stats, yeah.
Tell me what I think of fucking stats, guys.
What? You're asking what
stats and figures, guys, right.
Welsh MMA fighters. We started going into detail about this stats and this and that, but you know, the bottom line is we've got a couple of hard men from Wales who are very technical fighters, and you know, they potentially could be going into the UFC, so that's exciting.
But you don't have to fucking talk about them slightly, but
I was going to come over to you for that.
So yeah, we've got 4 great fighters that are possible candidates for the UFC. First of all, we got Lou, the foot long, which I consider the meatball marinara of combat sports at the moment. Yeah, he's on a 5-fight win streak. He's fucking great. The ground game he's got is fucking incredible, isn't it? Like,
he fights out of Ponty. I know a couple of girls who fight out of Ponty as well.
Yeah, the guy's got over the past few fights he's had, he's come on leaps and bounds. From the Dinsdale fight, he got rocked in that first round, and ever since that, from that first fight, I thought, I don't know where Lou Long's going to actually go from here. But over the past 3 or 4 fights he's had, he's come on leaps and bounds. Like the last fight he had in Abu Dhabi, he fucking jumped on that fucking guy's back like an anaconda eating a fucking corned beef pasty. Like, do you know what I mean? He fucking
no nonsense.
Yeah, it was so tight, you couldn't fit. You really couldn't fit a finger in.
We got to keep that in here. Look, if you're offended, you're on the wrong podcast.
But yeah, you can see where we're coming from. He's come on a great few fight winning streak, and I think the UFC would be a very silly organisation not to take him on. Do you know what I mean? He's got great, like he shows new fucking skills every time he fights, doesn't he?
Yeah, you know, we're not just saying this because he's Welsh, but he is definitely somebody who the UFC should consider. I know it's been a while now, people have been campaigning to get him in the UFC, but yeah, definitely one to look out for in the future, and definitely one I think we will see in the UFC at some point.
Second fight that we got on the list is Big John White Mike Tyson Phillips. Now, a lot of people know him from the Britain scene. He's been fighting in Bama and Cage Warriors for the past couple of years now, and he's been knocking on the UFC's door for quite some time, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Absolute beast. Like, you wouldn't want to see him down Wine Street, let me tell you. He's I think he's like 18-6 now, and he's coming off 2 credible fucking knockouts. Like, I've not seen him myself because you can't get hold of him, but he's obviously motivated now, and he's with Chris Reese Academy, which is down in Swansea, and those guys down there
know what they're doing, experienced.
Yeah, a few good fighters are coming out of there now, and it'll be great for him to get some BJJ experience, and Chris Reese has got about 10 years of Gracie Barra BJJ experience, so that'll be crucial to his career. He'll elevate his ground game no end, and I do think that will make him the perfect fighter. If he's in good condition, that means his hands are going to be as dangerous as ever due to his amateur boxing experience, and 100% he should go to the UFC and run his 95 division. Is that all fucking stats, Steve?
No stats then.
Fuck's sake. Yeah.
Stats are boring. We don't talk about stats much in this podcast.
Yeah, so who else we got? Brett Pikey Johns.
Brett Pikey Johns, you know, he's somebody who's dominating the bantamweight division outside the UFC. You know, he's definitely going to be looking to go into the UFC.
Yeah.
They're going to want to have some good records, and I believe he's 12-0, so that's a record which, you know, you can't argue with.
Yeah.
And you know, it'll be good to have again. These are all Welsh fighters we're talking about, and it'd be nice to have them in the UFC. And again, another person who's been knocking on the door for a while. You know, I'm not sure if it's some talks.
He's still so young. He's 23 years of age as well. Do you know what I mean?
I'm not sure if there's talks of him. Whereas, you know, these are all potential people going to the UFC. I'm not sure if there's talks of him, you know, actually going into the UFC. You know, so that'd be nice and exciting. You know, some Welsh talent going in.
Yeah.
I really think that with that sort of record, he's not just going to go into the UFC. He would do well in the UFC, so that'd be nice.
Yeah, even considering his age and 12 fights is a lot for his age. Do you know what I mean? He's obviously scrolled through his opponents, and just his ground game in general. He put on that rear naked choke against Wyatt Watson a few months back, and that just shows the class he is. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, and obviously from his judo background, he's obviously got naturally strong legs. Like his balance is spot on, and I think it'll be very stupid of him to not be put in the bantamweight division, because in my opinion he can go all the way.
We've got Jack Marshman next. Jack Marshman fights out Tulare Combat. Tulare Combat being one of the, you know, the biggest, if not, you know, the biggest in Wales. They a really good gym. We have a lot of people fighting out of the gym. Some gyms, you know, they do MMA and they have a lot of classes, but these, you know, I've gone and watched quite a few. You know, local events, and this is a gym which has, you know, people fighting out there regularly. Yeah. Jack Marshman is you know, probably the top guy at the moment.
Yeah.
He's been around.
Well, considering the fact he's only 26, he's pretty much a veteran of the British circuit now. He's been around for the past 5 or 6 years. Do you know what I mean? He's absolutely nails. If you watched him back in the Tom Watson back in 2012, he was a good fighter then at the age of 22, but then he's still keeping on improving, and from being an army boy and boxing in the army, he's gone from that to heaps and bounds with his
K1, doing a lot of K1, European champion K1.
Yeah, and his ground game is just he's been submitting people over the past few fights. Do you know what I mean? Like he did against was it Boyer? Oh, I can't say his name. I'm having a nightmare.
Forget his name now. His name's coming up now.
Bola on my alley. My apologies. 2 fights. I think 2 fights before the last one, he fought him and just showed an impeccable ground game and put him straight in his hold. Can't remember exactly what it was, but he's just fucking nails. Do you know what I mean? He probably uses this bulldog skincare for men. Do you know what I mean?
That's how nails he is.
That's how nails this guy is. Honestly.
That was just a completely inappropriate use of you know, advertising. I wish we were getting paid for that, but we're not. You know, it may seem like we are, but we really ain't.
Bulldog, we want an advertisement now.
Bulldog, get in touch.
Yeah.
Pass me on. Bulldog, get in touch. Or just give us free stuff, anything. Just give us something like
T-shirts or just
T-shirts,
like a
moisturiser,
like a dog necklace or
something. You've got to give us something for that.
But yeah,
yours money.
In his last fight, he fought Che Mills, didn't he? And fucking hell, first round, he was just taking shots, and he just smiled at him at the end. I thought, fucking hell, he's going to lose a decision here because he's just getting. Che Mills is just picking him off. But then the second round, he started throwing back, and by the time he knew it, Che Mills obviously Che Mills, I don't think took him seriously enough. And that was a very stupid mistake for him to make, because he caught him with a right, then a left. He went down and absolutely barraged him with a load of uppercuts, do you know what I mean, and finished the fight, and well deserving.
Barraged him.
Good use of words, good use of vocabulary there.
Don't look over that was a very good use of words. Barraged him.
Yeah,
you write that one down.
Yeah, write down. You don't hear a lot of words like
Sound
that, especially down in this area, like, yeah.
Barraged him.
Yeah, I say double R, but yeah.
Double R.
But yeah, and I think they'd be stupid not to take him on the UFC. I think he's at the right time, 26, he's had a fucking good amount of fights now, and him and John Phillips, I think, would make serious waves in the middleweight division of the UFC, 100%.
Definitely.
Yeah, wave after wave.
Wave. So now we've got we go on to something which everyone's going to know about, which is Conor McGregor and Rafael dos Anjos, RDA. We just mainly want to brush over the conference. You know, everyone knows about the El Chapo. Conor McGregor coming as El Chapo. What do you think of that, Jess?
Well, to be honest, you see this guy everywhere you look. You go and buy a loaf of bread from the shop. People are fucking talking about him. You dip your bloody hobnob in the tea. You pull it out. The fucking Conor McGregor's on your biscuit, like. Do you know what I mean? Like that.
Deep right, and he's down.
Yeah, you just bite into a bacon sandwich and you can just taste the fucking clover of Ireland in it. Do you know what I mean? It's just fucking never ending seeing him on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. But fucking hell, we all know why. Do you know what I mean? He's absolutely made fucking monstrous moves in the UFC division. He's classed as, well, everybody's starting to watch UFC because of him. And great.
He talks the talk. He talks the talk. He walks the walk.
And he's been walking that walk since he began. So going up to lightweight division now, I think people are saying it's a really bad move because all the lightweights are so big. But if you think about it, he's like 2 or 3 inches taller maybe, and I think he's got 4 inches advantage on him. So
over RDA, so it's going to be good. It's going to be, I think this one's going to be a fight. I know RDA is a big lightweight, and a lot of people are overlooking the fact, saying Conor McGregor, they're too strong for him, but he's already won in Cage Warriors at lightweight.
Lightweight, yeah.
So it's going to be, it's going to be a spectacle. It's going to be something to watch, and all fans are, proper excited to see what he's going to do now compared to what he did to Jose Aldo.
Yeah, and the thing is, I think Dana White's done something really well. He's took him up to lightweight. He's fighting for the title because at the end of the day, he is risking a lot by putting him in that fight. But it's he has to risk putting him into these big fights because it's going to attract more fucking fans. And even if Conor loses this fight, he's still got his featherweight title defence. We can easily go back down, fight Frankie Edgar.
There's still a money fight there for Frankie Edgar. We still got the rematch with Jose Aldo. So
yeah, that's it. Yeah. So yeah. I think that's going to be something to really look forward to in March. Really looking forward to it. Next one is UFC 196 being scrapped.
Let's say now this is UFC 196. Jess. Yeah. Just like that.
Yeah, I think it was the right move for him to keep to keep the actual event itself. They've just changed the name to UFC Las Vegas, which I think was a good thing because the fighters can keep their fights and they're getting paid now, and they're not spending all this amount of money on like training camps and stuff like that, like we were speaking about earlier. And obviously all the fans they get to keep their money from, and they don't have to get reimbursed and get.
It's a fuss, can imagine scrapping a big event like that.
Of course it is.
Not we know because we're not in the industry at all. Yeah. But what we're trying to say is you got lower league fighters who are getting paid. Practically nothing. They get paid $8,000 for a fight, and they have to travel. They camp, the nutritionists, the trainers. It's not a lot of money involved when you're just starting out. Yeah. So to scrap a whole event like that when you've already got people, probably in the country training for it, it's just a silly move for, as Jesse said, not just the fans, but for the fighters, the lower league fighters. Yeah. So yeah, it
is a sad shame that. They've both picked up these injuries. Cain Velasquez has been injured for quite some time, and people are talking about whether he should retire and stuff like this now. I just don't know what to say about it.
No, I don't know what to say about that. I would like to see. He looked, obviously we seen his last match with Doom, but
yeah.
People are saying about where the fight was, and he didn't train out there long enough. But it's going to be an interesting rematch. So I think we should definitely have the rematch. He is getting on, but when you're a slugger in the heavyweight, speed's the last thing to go. So he's still got his power and his technicality. So
people need to realise as well, like the training that these guys go through. 17, 18 stone fighters, like going through the ridiculing training. They go through like vigorous training, like ridiculing. Fucking my head's gone.
Crap use of words.
And basically, yeah. So they do like jiu-jitsu, wrestling. They're going through it. They're putting their bodies through hell, and heavyweights are going to pick up injuries more than the lightweights, in my opinion. And it's a really sad shame because Cain Velasquez was going to be considered one of the greatest heavyweights of all time, and yeah, I think he's had like 2 or 3 fights in the past couple of years, and it's such a sad shame that he's not been as constant with his matchups and active. He is a great athlete, don't get me wrong, and I hope to see Kane back, and I hope he makes a strong recovery after this back surgery. I hope Vadum's good as well. I've heard he's got like Baffoon's back.
And Kane, bring us back. We'll get you on the podcast. You know, we'll launch you into stardom, like.
Yeah, we'll pop down. We can give you another bottle of this Bulldog skincare for men.
Bulldog skincare for men. Bulldog, if you're watching this, get in touch.
Dion's mum makes a lovely gravy. And,
we'll get you down my house. We'll cook you with dinner. We'll even sort you back out.
Yeah.
We'll shoot you into stardom. You know, we're doing you a favour at the end of the day, Kane. You know, we just come down, yeah. We'll sort something out.
That's basically what's happened with UFC 196. Nobody's fault, just the matter of injuries, and I think the UFC have done a fairly good job, to be honest, to keep the matchup on.
Cruz versus Faber, potentially. Cruz versus Faber 2. You know, I was quite biased because I wanted Cruz to win. Obviously, he went out with an ACL injury, 9 months recovery time.
Multiple knee injuries.
Yes, 6 months into that, he had another injury. And
then like groin and stuff like that.
Then after he came back from the second injury, at the end of that, he was going to have a fight with Barrow, title shot, and you know he had everything going for him. And then he had a groin injury, and then the women started leaving, the money started going. You know, this belt got taken off him. So I was looking to, and I was rooting for him in this fight. He went to the fight. He took the fight to Dillashaw, did the business. It was a close fight, mind. I don't want to see. When I say there's too much, you know, rematch happening in the UFC, what I mean is because people dominate as champions for so long, they just automatically think they should have rematches. Where you know, obviously they deserve a lot of respect, but you know, not always a rematch, because it's like the Faber fight now. This is obviously just our opinion, but my opinion. But you know, Faber, he's the only person to ever beat Cruz, so you know it's 1-1. So everybody wants to see, you know, it's going to sell. I'm not saying Dillashaw doesn't deserve a rematch, because he does, but I think from a fan's perspective, they would like to see, you know, number one, a rematch, but also we want to see a Faber fight as well, and Faber could have the chance to win himself a title, which would be nice, because he's everyone's favourite as well, you know, the Californian kid.
Yeah.
Californian kid.
Californian kid. Straight from Venice Beach, like. Sorry guys, had a bit of a small glitch there with the fucking technology. The UFC has just partnered up with the British Wrestling Association to promote wrestling in schools around the UK. I don't know if it's probably just primary stages at the moment, but in my opinion, I do generally feel like that's going to be a great thing for UK youth of today growing up and getting their wrestling together. Do you know what I mean? And,
you know, whereas wrestling is a national sport in America, you know, in other parts of the world, Brazil, you've got jiu-jitsu, and they come into the UFC with strong games, and then they can work on their striking and stuff like that. But with us, we seem to be strikers over in Britain, boxers, which, you know, is something which you can pick up over the years. You know, striking is something which is not very effective. It is effective in UFC, but when you've got to learn, you know, jiu-jitsu or wrestling, they are good bases to go into the UFC with. When you're going in with a base of boxing, you go into the floor, you know, it's going to be a rough night for you.
That's it.
So I think with UFC now partnering up with the Wrestling Association and trying to promote wrestling in the UK, I mean, in Wales we're big into our rugby. We've got a lot of big rugby players.
That helps a lot, though.
I mean, it's interesting. Even if people just want to do the wrestling side of things, I think over here in the UK, it's one more sport which we can compete in. You know, even Olympics. You know, we can start competing in the Olympic standard.
100%.
I think it'll be really good to have us wrestling over here, whether or not we go into MMA or whether we go. You know, it's a couple of avenues you can go down. Whether you stick to wrestling or MMA, but it's definitely something which would be good to have. You know, in schools in the UK. The sooner the better. Most things which are big in America, in all walks of life, you know, not just fighting. Whatever's big in America tends to come over here with a bit of a delay. But I think the sooner we can get this over here and cemented, you know, the better the fighters we'll be displaying. It's another discipline for someone to have in the sport in school. So it's definitely something to look forward to.
We have to speak about fucking BJ Penn making his comeback. Do you know what I mean? That's one of the biggest comebacks I think I've ever heard of. Do you know what I mean? Especially in MMA. You hear a lot of it in boxing, where people like obviously like George Foreman and people like that, Mike Tyson, have all tried to make comebacks, but BJ Penn, he's only 37, so he's not totally past his legs. But in terms of MMA, that's quite old. I know Randy Couture, he was over 40 when he was competing. But the thing with BJ Penn is that I find, obviously one of the best lightweights of all time, but I just feel he never actually depended on his natural natural athleticism. It was more his natural ability and techniques that he relied on. So when he was in his late 20s and 30, 31, he was in his prime, and he was just so naturally good at techniques, where now he's going to have to depend on his athleticism to keep him going in these fights. Do you know what I mean?
First thing to go in athletes, in combat sports, is his speed. He's coming back wanting to fight McGregor. I mean, everybody wants to fight McGregor because he is the money fight in the UFC, but I don't know, if he comes back at 37, there's lots of fighters in the UFC who are 37 and older, but when BJ Penn, toward the end of his career last time, he was just...
Yeah, he lost like the Frankie Edgar fight.
He was losing in devastating fashion. So if he comes back, his first fight, which is possibly Nick Lentz, I think he needs to make a statement, or that's it.
And the featherweights are so fast, do you know what I mean? And I never remember BJ as being really fast. I just remember being very evasive and good at just like getting out of the way and just getting people to the ground and catching people with like punches and stuff. So he's gonna have a hard time again in shape, but I think he's at Jackson Wink MMA now, and I think Greg Jackson and Winkle John and all those guys are gonna really prepare him well to the best that he is gonna be, and he seems motivated. I heard him on the John Anik and Kenny Florian podcast, and he seems psyched up. Do you know what I mean? But there's only so much psyched up you can get.
I think one name which is going to keep coming up, whatever topic we're speaking about, is McGregor. I think
there's talks about BJ trying to build BJ up to have a few fights, put him straight in the top 10, fight his way up, and then try and fight McGregor for the title.
I think McGregor is getting everybody. He's not only getting people to watch MMA who don't normally watch it.
Yeah.
He's getting older fighters who want to come back
and take them on.
McGregor's definitely got a lot to do with any fighters that are going to be coming out of retirement now.
Yeah.
It's a stir that he's causing.
Especially that size,
it's definitely he's encouraging people to come back.
Yeah.
Through his trash talk in his fights, they're thinking, I want a piece of this. I want to get on the action. So it's definitely got a lot to do with McGregor. I think most things have when people are coming back now, especially BJ Penn.
Hopefully we'll be seeing BJ Penn. I think he's making his comeback fight like UFC 197 or something so pretty close. So it'd be really interesting to see him come back and see the way he performs and see what he's got left in the tank. Everyone's going to be really excited to see him come back, especially all the hardcore.
It's going to sell. It's definitely going to sell. 100%
sell.
A fight that's going to sell because of his name.
Yeah,
his legacy.
Yeah, 100%. He'll either be on like a main event of a fight night, or he'll be like he'll be in the main event of UFC 197. 100%. Do you know what I mean? He's got that credibility. Do you know what I mean? That not a lot of fighters have.
Well, it said his legacy. I remember reading an interview about him the other day. He says he doesn't give a shit about legacy. He just wants to scrap. And in his own words, he just likes fighting. So he doesn't care if he comes back and he just wants to fight. That's it. There's no other motivation behind it.
Yeah, he's that type. He's that hardcore fighter who just wants to come back just to compete. He's just sitting in his house in Hawaii, bored as fucking.
And people who say, and anybody who's got says, it's for the money. It's not for the money. He's got plenty of money. He's got bags of the stuff.
Yeah.
It is just because, as he said, he does like a fight. So it'll definitely be good to see a legend of the sport come back in. It would be huge.
Yeah.
How do you pronounce that person's name?
Right, basically, read an article this week, and it's about a guy called, I believe this is how you pronounce it, Zaburi Tukhagov. And he's
Go on, troll us. Comment underneath trolling us. Saying that we haven't pronounced it right.
All the Russian fans will be on to us now. But he's basically had 3 fights in the UFC. 2 of those fights he's redlined, so that means he's paid for his training camps. He's then been paid for his fight, but then he's been basically he's lost money in those fights, 2 out of 3 fights. So I think he's something like $3,000 down for the whole 3 fights he's done, and it's not as even if he's lost fights, he's won all 3 of those fights. So
it goes back to what we said earlier on about scrapping the whole event. Of 196 is you've got people who are putting a lot of money into this. The training camps, food is expensive for anybody who needs to eat clean.
They pay for their own cooks and stuff
like that. They pay for their own nutritionist cooks. You've got the trainers.
Yeah.
Everybody wants a slice of the cake when it's not just you in the fight who wins the money. You've got to pay for expenses, and not only that, you're going over to America to fight or whatever the fight is. You're travelling from your own country, and you're bringing people with you. It's cost. It all adds up, and if you have a look at the Athletic State Commission or some of the wages that they're getting paid.
Yeah.
is shocking. You know, it's people
under $10,000.
Under $10,000.
The UFC fighters.
UFC fighters. When you think of UFC, you think of
the pinnacle of the sport.
Yeah, the pinnacle of the sport, the ultimate fighting championship, and you think you've made it. You know,
yeah, that's
you
it,
think
yeah.
you've literally made it, but then you've got these fighters, these budding talents who I don't think are getting a fair deal. And me and Jesse talked about earlier on where you get these fight of the night bonuses, and they give it to the big fighters, which, you know, I understand some of the fights are deserving of it, but
like I was talking to fucking Dion earlier about a few years ago, obviously the GSP Koscheck fight, right? If you watch that card again, you'll watch all the prelims and all the prelims and stuff like that. There were some banging fights on it, absolutely bangers, and basically they give the fight of the night to Koscheck and GSP, and pretty much it was just GSP punching Koscheck in the face for like 5 rounds, do you mean? And they both got 50k each. Where there was probably some lads on there who were fighting who probably got like something like $7,000 or $8,000, and their camps may have been like $20,000. Who knows? Do you know what I mean?
The last couple of fights, you can't argue with the last couple, because you had Lawler and Condit. That was
yeah. Even though that was the main event, that was definitely fight.
Yeah, definitely fight the night. And then you've got a couple before that with McDonald and Lawler again.
Oh, that was fucking amazing, mate.
Yeah,
they're well deserved.
They're well deserved. But what we mean is, obviously, you get some people getting overlooked because they, you know, because they're not very big names. But then the pay they're getting is, you know, they need to start spreading the love a little bit more with the pay, because it's harsh on the fighters trying to make it in the UFC.
Yeah, but obviously we don't know fuck all about finances.
We don't discuss. What the fuck do we know? You know?
Why are we even getting involved?
I don't know, we seem to be getting a bit deep about UFC finances.
We're also going to speak about as well Holly Holm. She's fighting Miesha Tate now. She's fighting, it's UFC 186 now, isn't it? They're fighting in the co-main event just before the McGregor-Dos Anjos fight. How do you feel that fight's going to go down? But just what's your general opinion on it?
I think Tate will be a better fight for Holm than what Ronda Rousey was.
Dragon.
Yeah. Not to say I told you so, but I had Holm down to beat Rousey.
You did, yeah.
But yeah, with Tate, I think she's had wars with Ronda. I think she's the only person to take her
0-2.
Yeah, she knows she's lost to Ronda twice, but I think she's the only person to take her into the third round, was she?
Yeah, she's got great natural ability, and in my opinion, Miesha Tate fought Ronda Rousey at her best. In my opinion, I think Ronda Rousey was getting so worked up. She was like acting. She was in like I think she was like modelling, doing all sorts of crazy things.
She had a couple of films, Fast and Furious. She did.
She had a manic 2015 in my opinion.
What's it called? Entrepreneurs.
Entourage.
Entourage. It was on to something.
But yeah, she had a manic 2015 at the end of the day, and she had like 2 or 3 fights. She was fighting all the time, and she was trying to fit everything in, and she probably didn't have a day off. And I think when you got that much of a crazy lifestyle, like I didn't call this because I just thought Ronda Rousey was gonna slam through everybody that year, but didn't see it coming. But she obviously had a lot on her plate, and I just don't think she was the same fighter fighting Holly Holm. She wasn't like
I think she expected to win. Like I think you are right, exactly everything we're saying. You know, she did have a lot going on, but I think she expected to win. She went in there with no game plan. You could quite clearly see it. She just expected that.
She was just going like it was like the Beth Carrera fight.
She's just demolishing women. The last fight was where she just demolished somebody, so she's ended on a high.
Yeah.
And then she's just gone in there, and she didn't have a game plan, and obviously Holly Holm fighting the biggest, the biggest, not just female star on the planet, but UFC fighter, and she went in there with a game plan, and it worked perfectly, and
100%.
obviously she devastated Rousey with that, that awesome head kick to KO. It was immense. So I'm looking forward to not only seeing this Tate fight, because I think that's going to be much better, obviously. But seeing the rematch, which we're not really hearing much about, we're sort of hearing that Rousey is going to come back, and then he was sort of being pushed back a little bit, and then she's got a couple of films which she got to do. But the question is it really worth her while coming back? Obviously, she wants to avenge a loss, but she's got so much. She got so much income from other things as well, and to be fair,
she just comes Saturday Night Live. Do you know what I mean?
If she can't take down Holm is a bit, she's a big woman. If she can't take Holm down, the clinch wasn't working. Obviously, they practiced for the clinch. If she can't take it down, she's not going to be able to stand with her, because you can't teach somebody, 18 or 19 world titles in boxing. You can't teach her that. And, you know, Homer's got that over her.
Yeah.
She can spend 6 months, you know, working on her striking.
Yeah,
but she's.
Yeah, I think Miesha Tate is a good striker. Like you've seen in a few fights where I think Miesha Tate, she's that type of fighter. She's good at everything, whereas Holly's just very good at standing up. But she's so strong as well. It's going to be hard to take her down, and you can get close to taking her down.
Yeah.
But I think Miesha Tate will be a better fight. I think she will give her a better go than Rousey, because just because Miesha Tate's lost 2 fights to her doesn't take away the fact that she's a very talented fighter. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
And she's a good athlete as well, Miesha Tate, and I genuinely think that it will go into the latter rounds. This fight, I think it's going to be a good contest. And it's the biggest fight the Holm and the Rousey hasn't been a part of. So I think it's going to be very interesting to see who's going to win that. But I do still feel that Holm is going to edge over the striking, and I think Holm's going to get better and better.
It's going to be good to see.
It's going to be a bit like fucking, if Holm loses this fight, it's going to be a bit like I seen this earlier. It's a bit like the Mike Tyson versus Buster Douglas. I know it's boxing, but Buster Douglas knocked out Mike Tyson, and he was the first person to do it. But where's Buster Douglas now? But we're still watching Mike Tyson on every single Facebook video we see. Do you know what I mean? So she can't be a one-hit wonder, Holly Holm. She's got to go in there and she has to finish Miesha Tate destructively. Do you know what I mean? Like Ronda Rousey's done even better to claim her status as a big women's fighter. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it will be interesting to see, like, can Miesha Tate elevate her career and actually get a little bit of a bit of success. Do you know what I mean? Not taking it from her, she's had success, but like championship success, and can Holly Holm prove she's not a one-hit wonder? I think that's what we're going to speak about it basically. We'll just literally touch on it, which is a great fight that's just come up, is Rashad Evans versus Shogun, 2 absolute veterans. Do you know what I mean? We can't leave them out of the podcast. It's just been announced this week. 2 absolute beasts, both great on the feet. Do you know what I mean? And they both getting older. That's considered. They're not the same boys.
Win or retire is the what comes to mind. Is two legends again, influenced by how, you know, the storm that I keep saying it. Conor McGregor's kicking up. He's getting everybody, you know, wanting to get involved, and Rashad, you know, coming off a loss. He's coming off a loss.
Yeah. I don't know. I can't remember the last time I watched Shogun fight.
But they're 2 veterans of the sport, you know.
They've won. They're both champions. They're both like heavyweight champions at the end of the day. And it'll be an enjoyable fight because they're both great on the feet. Shogun with his kicks, obviously. Rashad with just his evasiveness and his great hooks. But we've seen massive holes in both their games, and in my opinion, I can see the loser of this fight possibly retiring, or. Yeah, I can see that happening. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, it'll be a great fight for the ages, in my opinion. Great fight, like. And last but not least topic, we're gonna have a little chat about Tim Kennedy.
Tim Kennedy.
If anyone's heard about this, Tim Kennedy, ex-Marine, he's a middleweight. Obviously beat Michael Bisping. He's just been supposedly threatened by ISIS on Twitter. Obviously, I think like the FBI are looking into it and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? Like,
the FBI getting involved. You know, a UFC fighters getting threatened by ISIS. It's not something which you come across often.
Yeah, I think he's ready for him. I think like whoever they've got next, like, you know, it could be John 2, or it could be Jihadi Ben. God knows. But yeah, we're gonna now have a short break, and we're gonna show you Neutral Nige's crazy minute. Like, hope you enjoy.
I'm Neutral Nige, and I know fuck all about UFC, but what I do know is before Dos Santos made it in the UFC, he used to make money by smuggling children across the Mexican border. Sadly got caught by the US authorities. They managed to measure his nostrils and ended up having the same circumference as a Ford Mondeo's wheel trim. Fact. Kichi Kanamato, where you training, fella? Under a waterfall? That white umbrella's everywhere you bloody go. You're like an Asian Mary Poppins. Fucking belter. Nate Flanders yesterday beat Seth Bass in UFC Fight Pass. Upon the victory, obviously Seth lost. So on this victory, now Nate gains a contract he's all been waiting for with Colgate. Because as you can see, his teeth is yellow as my amber leaf. Fucking hell, Flanders, get yourself a toothbrush, for fuck's sake. So we've had some emails in from a few people. Here's Tony, sales consultant from Conor-RDA. Conor McGregor, I hope he gets knocked the hell out by Dos Santos, the cocky Irish prick. Well, Tony, from Conor-RDA, if you're so hard, why don't you tell that to Conor's face? Perhaps you should get in the ring with him, have a bounce, you know what I mean? Stick to your fucking desk job, belter.
Nige, do you want to do an outtake about BJ Penn?
Do you do?
No, BJ Penn.
BJ Penn? Oh, Darren's brother. Fuck's he good to the UFC? Talking about him. Last time I seen him, he's done a market, Julie.
Right then, we're gonna literally just end the fucking episode with just a typical breakdown of UFC Fight Night. Main event. You got Anthony Rumble Johnson against Ryan Bader in the main event. Title eliminator for the light heavyweight title. It hasn't been particularly exciting because John Jones has been out of the picture, but now John Jones is coming back. You got these two fighters fighting for the number one contender spot. You got Daniel Cormier there, and with John Jones back in the mix, I think he'll make it a little bit more exciting for that division, in my opinion. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I agree. I think a lot of people are overlooking Bader. I think that Johnson's going to win, but I think it's silly to just completely overlook Bader.
I think Bader's won like 5 consecutive wins.
Yeah.
Not be by knockout, but he's getting better and he's getting more composed. I think Bader is. He's taking his time and he's not looking for the finish like he did when he was fighting like the likes of Glover, Teixeira and people like that. He's not sort of looking for it so much. He's taking his time. He's using his wrestling. And he's just improving, and he's getting older, and he's getting more composed as a fighter now.
With Cormier, he would have won that stand on his feet. He would have, he would have
knocked Daniel Cormier nearly out.
He hit him across the ring, and then he got wrestled, and he looked a very tired man. And you always see these people with bigger muscles, getting burnt out early.
I don't think it'll be too much of a problem with Bader. Bader's not such a big guy as Cormier. I think they're both roughly about the same size. They're both the same size, reach, height, and everything. So I think he'll be able to withstand the pressure of Bader's wrestling, in my opinion. Even though Bader's more of a high standard wrestler, I think Johnson will be able to take it. And I think on the feet, Bader's in for a shock.
Yeah, definitely.
Ridiculous.
I think anybody is. I think everybody stands with Johnson's going to be in for a shock, and
yeah.
It's going to be definitely a spectacle. It's always a good fight to watch when Johnson's involved, to be honest.
Yeah. What's your predictions? But
I'd say Johnson. I don't know. It could be an early one. It could be an early night for easy work for Johnson, but I think it's going to be for some reason the third round knockout for Johnson.
Well, I think I'll go with 4th round TKO for Johnson. Thanks very much for watching, guys.
Yeah, thanks for watching the first episode of our Basement Bounce Off, where we're bouncing off all the latest news about MMA.
You fucking heard it here first.
Watch
See you
us.
later, folks.